Findings from the study support effective teaching practices in nursing education and add to a growing evidence base for scholarly teaching in nursing.
I think if you don't really feel passionate about being there, then you're wasting all those students' time, because I don't even want to show up if the tutor is ineffective.
Good knowledge, but a good facilitation of incorporating the students into the learning experience and kind of bringing out different points that as a student you wouldn't see, but as a graduate nurse you would see.
I truly believe that your experience with a tutor makes or breaks how you feel and how you succeed. And in practice, having a good tutor, you see yourself actually able to become a professional nurse.
I was pushed so that I got the most out of the experience that I had. I remember the experience that I had that term so much more clearly than any of the other terms.
Sometimes she'd be late for class and it was like she wasn't putting any effort into it, but it shuts you off of learning completely.
They made me believe in myself and believe in my skills, and they were good and they caused excitement. They caused me to be excited about being a nurse and about doing a really good job.
Having a positive tutor experience. They're actually loving nursing. They actually love how much care we can provide to the client and the holistic way that nurses see the client.
I had a really bad clinical tutor in my second year, and it just made me feel like I wasn't doing anything right, and it's stressful. I want to be able to do things right. I want to be a good nurse. I want to feel that I'm going to be able to do this for the rest of my life. And then it kind of leaves you feeling like, oh, you actually can't.
I would cry the night before having to go. I would dread to the point where I'm going to call in sick, or else I won't be able to function tomorrow. I can't eat, I can't sleep. It's detrimental to your health. It is a hazard psychological to your body to have a bad tutor.
I've had an experience with a put tutor in PBL, and you really feel powerless. You don't feel like you can take ownership of your learning. You feel defeated.
Communicating with us as professional nurses.
In level 1, you need tutors that are really supportive and nurturing, like mother-like.
Having a very strong empathy and caring in a tutor in first year especially.
Letting you make the connections, they probe and ask questions but make you think.
I really appreciate clinical tutors that have good balance between being there to support you but also being there to challenge you.
I remember the experiences that I had that term so much more clearly than any other terms because I reflected on individual things that happened and how they challenged me and challenged my practice.
Confident teachers make confident students. Caring teachers make caring students.
Teachers' actions speak loudly to the student. I had her as a role model, and so that totally impacted how I would nurse in that setting.
Flexibility, open-mindedness, enthusiasm. Someone that's gung-ho about teaching nursing. Someone that really is all about the program.
Best tutor I ever had. She was just a really inspiring nurse, and so I found myself. That's the nurse I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to be.
It's really good when they give us context of where we're headed.
Even simple things like organizing my paper for the day. These are my patients, these are their diagnosis, this is what I have to do for them throughout the day, interventions and activities.
Through the middle years, that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's where you're actually learning the skills you're going to be doing every day in your future. You really need that firm foundation. This is how you do it, this is how you do it well, this is what it comes down to.
Pushing you to try different roles because you're not always going to be doing the same thing when you go into the real setting. I think that's preparing you to be the best of your ability.
We need tutors to show us how. If we've never done an abdominal assessment, we don't know how to do it until we see it done. I can read about it and practice it and keep practicing it wrong.
One of my best clinical tutors, she recognized in me a weakness that I had in making a connection between the assessment I'm doing and my patient diagnosis, what I'm actually doing.
She talked about when she was a student
and how every single med she gave had a cue card. She helped us achieve our goals through her sharing.
We need tutors to show us, then watch us, and give us good feedback to get it right.
Tutors that can identify students' needs individually and give them practical things that they can do about that is really important. One of my tutors, she keeps telling us about her personal life and how it affects her. It really seems like she's placing her problems over us.
The tutor in providing that positive reinforcement of identifying your strengths and promoting those. I think that those are very powerful, and the fact that you start to see yourself as a nurse.
An effective strategy is like pushing you to do reflections based on events that have occurred during your clinical day.
I think that if you don't really feel passionate about being there, then you're wasting all those students' time, because I don't even want to show up if the tutor is ineffective.
They stay on top of it.
They fulfill their commitments to the student.
The tutor just has such a big part of that success based on how involved and invested they are.
I think effective tutors are really approachable and friendly, but that they still have high standards. Effective teachers do not allow slackers, and they have a backbone to stand up to students as needed.
Help us to know what nurses do and how to nurse, how to be really good nurses. We don't know, we need the tutors to get us there.
Like they'll see you as a student in a clinical class, but then they'll also see you as a student as a whole.
Being really approachable, especially in clinical, because if you're on the floor and afraid to approach your tutor, that's where mistakes are made.
The strength of this tutor is that she knew her students, especially in clinical when we were taking care of people and knowing if they are uncomfortable.
For me, it's just them having a lot of knowledge.
She tells a lot about her experiences that she had when she was working as a nurse, and reflecting on the things we see like caring, and reminding us why we really chose nursing in the first place.
Like they just know more. They're in touch with what the goals of the course are, and they know things, so just being knowledgeable about the whole program in general, as well to know what's going on.
She knew her patho. She would quiz you on your patho, on your patient prep, which I thought was very beneficial. It was terrifying when you're there, but she was the best tutor I'd ever had.
Communicating with us as professional nurses.